on that straight stretch. So and it was so loud, like inside the building.
Right.
We couldn't hear the guy giving the presentation.
So we had a BMW we had two BMW i8s, and they sound cool, right? But it's a partially electric car. You could call it a hybrid, even though it plugs in and everything. But the thing, it's like basically it's like a 3-cylinder motor with an electric, and it sounded good. I'm like, oh, it sounds like race car and stuff.
Yeah.
Then that 488 went by. I'm like,
it's like no.
Did you guys do a video with Corsair?
No. So the Corsair event was bizarre. I can't talk about anything that happened at it.
Got it. Besides, there was a 488 and a Gallardo involved.
Besides the cars.
Got it.
Yeah. So and the cars were fun, which was cool. So we got people posting walls of text in the chat. Linus doesn't read the Twitch chat.
I'm reading the Twitch chat.
Also, you're gonna take a little time out there, my friend. Yeah, that's right. Oh,
are you moderating the chat?
Oh,
live right now?
I just moderated the chat.
Whoa,
live.
This is riveting content right now.
That's right. Okay, no, let's get into the real riveting content.
Right.
Here is the intro. I actually don't know if the music's working. I think it is, but I don't.
I'm gonna
know for
dance
sure.
to it as if it is. Actually.
Well, they can't see you.
That's fine. I'm gonna dance to it.
I mean, I can see you. I can watch you dance, which is great. No, I'm banning.
Whoa!
I'm banning Han Solo Cody. Yeah, that's right.
It's banning time?
That's right.
Dude, we've been here for like 3 minutes and you're banning people?
It's banning time. It's like
CES has been a long, hard trek for Linus.
Yeah,
this has been rough.
It's actually been. You know what? It's actually been our most organized year at.
Okay.
I mean, that doesn't mean my brain is still working, but
I mean, no one's is at this point.
But it's been pretty organized. Actually, Nick did almost all of our scheduling, and I just kind of go where I'm supposed to be and take too long there.
Dude, every time I've seen you, you guys seem to have everything together, which is impressive.
So we forgot the batteries for our FS5.
Like, straight up. No batteries whatsoever.
One battery and no charger.
Can you get those locally?
We're borrowing from Jay's 2 cents.
Oh, okay.
By the way,
we actually have extra batteries if you need them.
Massive shout out to Jay's 2 cents, who came through, unlike Austin Evans, in our time of need with an FS5 battery.
Wait, what?
Massive shout out, Jay's 2 cents.
I just found this out.
If I could have Jay's 2 cents here on the show instead of Austin, I would have, but the guy's too famous, so
you're stuck with me, unfortunately.
So there you go. So let's talk show.
Wait, do we have to?
Have you seen anything?
Okay, so I've been here since Tuesday night.
Same time no, I was here Monday night, I think.
I've had almost no time to look at anything. I've been like all over the place doing stuff that has nothing to do with actual CES. We did a giant road trip around Nevada on Wednesday. Actually with Jay.
Okay.
We did the whole thing, but I am almost completely in the dark. I've been able to walk around the show floor for like an hour.
So why don't we structure the show like this?
Right.
I'll explain CES to you.
Okay.
And you can be like.
So you're gonna try to impress me right now with CES?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it. I'm down.
Okay. So AMD. So original article here is from. I am really hoping that what I'm about to do right now is gonna work. I think I just screen shared, but I'm not sure because
we're just watching the intro again.
Because it's a hot. Yeah. It's like do.
And here we go. I think it's gonna work.
Okay, so the original article here is from PC World because our video is not up yet. But apparently AMD Ryzen, not apparently, AMD Ryzen
apparently
is here.
It's here. Is it really here?
It is here.
Wait, when you say it's here, as in like, can I go buy it yet?
Well, not that kind of
it's not here yet.
It's not that kind of here. No, it's a different kind of here. Okay.
Okay.
So do you want to know the kind? Are you just going to be a smartass, or are you going to? Do you want to know the kind of here?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
You invited me here. You should know what you got yourself.
Okay, so I invited you here.
Yes.
Which means physically in this location.
Yes.
So when I say AMD Ryzen is here.
All right. Continue.
Okay. That's QED right there.
I got you.
So basically, they had the same demos that they did from their live stream, where they had the Ryzen processor and the $1,000 6900K from Intel, and they had them playing a game, like playing a playback of a game. So it's running in the actual game engine, but no one has to sit there and actually play it. So they're playing back the game and they're streaming to Twitch on both of them at the same time.
So there's like, you basically can tune into the Intel stream, or was it like a split screen deal?
Completely separate. One tower, playback and stream.
Okay, so the idea is that not only can you game, but you can also stream, so it's kind of putting extra load on the processor and showing you that this can actually stream.
So not only that, But what they're saying is that I think they call it infinity fabric or something. The way that the 8 cores communicate with each other makes their CPU able to multitask in that way better than Intel.
Interesting.
And so the practical demo that they're doing here is noticeably better.
Okay.
There's less delay on the Ryzen stream.
Right.
And there's less blocking and artifacting.
Wait, so what do you mean by there's less delay? Because doesn't Twitch kind of introduce a delay built in?
Theoretically, yes. I didn't think that delay had anything to do with processing. So I'm not going to, until I've set up my own test setup, where I take like my gigabit pipe, and I set it up at home. Or not, well, I don't have a gigabyte pipe. I'm just going to have a moment of that. So,
yeah,
so I set it up in the studio, and I see it for myself.
Right.
That one of the streams is more or less delayed than the other. But what was noticeable was the image quality. For some reason, the AMD stream didn't have as much blocking. Now, with that said, what I don't know... So I did open up all the boxes.
Okay.
I
so
opened up the machines.
It was legit, at least hardware-wise.
Yes.
Okay.
The hardware was legit, but I don't know if there could have been any variability in the internet.
Did you see, like, bitrate or anything like that? Like, what their back-end settings were?
No. So I need to validate it for myself.
Right. But it's an interesting demo. And the obvious question is, well, why not just use NVENC? Like, why not use your video card to encode? And the answer to that is CPU encoding looks better, which is true. So if you have a processor that can game and CPU encode at the same time, then sure, great. Okay.
So then they have another demo. They're running Battlefield 1, 4K, with GTX Titan XP, which is like...
Okay, that sounds about right.
I mean, given that NVIDIA didn't give the cards to them, I guess AMD actually ran out there and spent, like, over a G twice.
I mean, I feel like AMD might end up buying a couple NVIDIA cards and vice versa from time to time. It might happen.
From time to time, they might make it into the labs, It's but they had Ryzen and a 6900K playing Battlefield 1. And I'll say this, the frame rates looked a little slower on Ryzen.
Was there an FPS counter, or was it just like, okay?
Yeah, FPS counter. They had it in the corner, so it was free to touch.
Right.
You could navigate the tank exactly in the same spot, and you could kind of move it around and see how the dips went. You could fire the gun, see how it dips.
Yeah.
And Ryzen mostly held its own.
Okay.
It's like 96 to 97% of the way there. And they don't have their dynamic clock boosting on.
Oh, right, because, like, wasn't the first demo they were showing something like, it was, like, clocked at, like, 3 gigahertz, whatever, compared to Broadwell?
Right. So now they've got it clocked at 3.4.
Okay, and that's all 8 cores.
And that's all 8 cores. But the rumor is that it's going to boost maybe another 300 megahertz higher than that.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
This is interesting. So do we have an idea of what price is going to be on this thing?
No.
Okay, so this could be really impressive or just kind of whatever.
So there's a couple different ways that AMD can attack this. Yeah. They can either go the route that we've seen, because, okay, how many years has it been since we've had a graphics card that has come in and been like 60% as fast as the flagship, or then like, okay, let's say it's like 90% as fast as like the next one from the other team.
Right.
And it comes in at like 70% of the price.
Right. It doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, 480 was like pretty good, but then NVIDIA countered with the 3 gig 1060, and it all kind of, the stack made sense again.
Your laptop just turned off.
Like, almost immediately.
I thought the whole stream just crashed. Sorry, my
no,
bad. Go ahead.
All good. Jeez.
Oh, look, that screen just went like black a little too fast.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. I totally got you, right? So they're pretty much going to price this whatever they want to. And if they think they can come close to Intel performance, they might as well come close to Intel price.
But if they do that, what do all the AMD fans who have been waiting all this time for AMD to come up with something competitive, what do they have to show for their patience? So AMD is in a position where they have to be aggressive to please their fans, I feel. But if they go too aggressive, they force Intel to react. So AMD needs to kind of be like a little bit better, and it's almost if they give it away, they're actually gonna screw themselves.
So what do you think? So say we're getting 90% of the performance with Ryzen, right? Just throwing a number out there.
So throw a random number, sure.
So what if that's like 80% of the price?
I think that's
that like a
pretty
decent?
close.
Okay.
I think maybe even so. I think it'll be like 80% of the price on the chip, and I think the board's going to be a little cheaper
Yeah, I agree with that.
because Intel charges a lot for a chipset.
The boards were also shown
Yeah.
at CES, right?
Yes. So the platform, very interesting. I thought, because AMD said, look, we're making a high-end CPU, damn it, and so we're going high-end. But the reality of it is that there's a lot of stuff about HEDT, high-end desktop, Intel's 2011 3 platform, that makes no sense, even in an enthusiast computer.
Sure.
Do you need 40 PCI Express lanes? What are you hooking up to your PCI Express lanes?
18 graphics cards.
Right, exactly. Okay, so do you need all of these PCI Express lanes? Probably not.
For certain super high-end applications, but I feel like 98% of people never actually utilize that.
That's right. So Intel's HEDT has server D in it.
Right.
And exactly.
That's where it actually makes sense.
That's where that stuff makes sense. So, but then Intel's desktop platform, with its 16 plus 4 PCI Express lanes, as soon as you put a graphics in there, it's like all you got left is kind of 4 lanes for your. Now we've got NVMe storage.
Yeah, exactly. That's
we've got SATA drives. We've got like maybe you want to throw in a couple more PCIe cards. Motherboards are starting to ship with 10 gigabit networking on them.
Right.
That uses a significant amount of bandwidth.
Right.
So I feel like Intel's consumer is almost too consumer.
Sure. No, I can totally agree with that. Yeah.
So AMD went right in the middle.
Okay.
24 PCIe lanes off the CPU. So
Alright.
that's 16 dedicated for graphics,
Yeah.
another 4 dedicated for NVMe storage,
Okay.
and another 4 to the chipset to handle your LAN, USB 3.1 Gen 2.
So when you say dedicated, it's not specifically dedicated, right?
I believe it is.
Is it really?
Because
Wow.
Intel is set up somewhat similarly. That's what DMI 3.0 is. It's
Right.
basically PCIe that goes from the CPU to the chipset
Right.
that acts as a communications hub. So AMD has gone and positioned Ryzen and their 370X, I think, is the highest end chipset,
Yeah.
kind of like dead center.
Okay. Okay.
So,
No,
like-
that makes sense. I feel like, I mean, first of all, they've got 8 cores. And it
Yeah.
seems like these 8 cores are going to be a pretty decent step up over what we've had in the past.
From AMD, that's for sure.
Yeah, so it's like,
Yeah.
it makes sense that with more cores, there's a little bit more room kind of in the middle for them to kind of aim for the other features like PCI.
That's right.
So, I'm done with that.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're giving us a lot. There are 5 different chipsets, which I thought was a
Are there
little over
5,
the top.
really?
Yeah, so there's a super low power one designed for very small form factor stuff.
Okay.
There's 2 that would be considered high-end and enthusiast level that
Right.
will enable overclocking.
Ah, okay.
So they're going a similar, and then there's 2 more, like a mainstream and a business one or something like that.
Sure,
I forget exactly what they all are, but they're going a similar route to Intel on the whole, like pick your page and pick your decoder ring and you get unlock the overclocking. Except that every Ryzen CPU is unlocked. So you don't have to pick a special CPU. You just
Okay.
have to buy a special board.
Okay, I'm done with that. Why not, right?
I agree with that move.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the reality of it is even on the Intel side, if you're gonna overclock, you should be buying a decent board anyway.
Of course, absolutely. Yeah.
And any decent board is gonna have a Z-series chipset, or X, as it were,
Right.
anyway.
Yeah.
So don't lock down the CPU. You buy whatever CPU you want, and then you buy a decent board, which
Yeah.
presumably will have a top-tier chipset, and you overclock it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so far, it looks like the approach is pretty consumer-friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not one to have a ton of faith in any corporation. And I know a corporation is still made up of people. But I'm not one to have much faith in a corporation, so I'm saying an entity with a board of directors. Because boards of directors are not, and shareholders, those are not the real people that
Right, of
you
course.
interact with.
Right.
Or that I interact with.
Those are the people who need to make sure that their next bonus is even bigger than the last one.
That's right. These are money people. These are not human interaction with customers and with influencers and
Right.
with resellers, people. So I have very little faith generally in a corporation to act in a consumer-friendly manner.
Absolutely.
Once they have a product that they can sell for $722, I expect them to charge $724 with a $2 mail-in rebate. Okay? That's my expectation.
Sign me up for that. Sign me up for that. Yeah.
So it is refreshing for me to see that this thing is competitive.
Yes.
And that they're not necessarily going to grab the upper. With that said, we know nothing about pricing.
Right. Do we have a rough release date at all?
I think a rough release date is sometime in Q1.
Oh, okay. So we're pretty close.
Well, they had not only like 2 demo systems. So they had a lineup of 15 systems from like Origin PC and like this weird like Chinese computer brand I'd never heard of. It had like this crazy case. Like they had a bunch of partner systems.
Right.
They had Ryzen running in like the Vega demo.
Okay. Okay.
There was a Vega demo. It is my belief at this time that I am the only one who has actually touched Vega.
You actually touched it
here at the show. Not only
did you drop it?
No. Well, you know what I did?
Whoa! What?
I did drop this. I did drop the chip.
You actually did?
There's a dead chip. I did drop the chip.
Was it dead before or after you dropped it?
Before. It wasn't even attached to a GPU.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was playing with the chip. I was holding it. I was looking at it, and it like fell out of my hands. No one was looking.
Sure.
I picked it up.
Sure. Of course. Yeah. Naturally.
Camera wasn't rolling, so it wasn't. I wasn't like staging it to be funny. It was just. I was like, shoot, I dropped it. Crap.
I've never done that before ever.
But no, real Vega. So our video is coming on that probably tomorrow.
Okay, so what's still in there? I feel like we're like going hard on AMD right now, but
other than that, is there anything else? Every time we talk about any AMD news, like our viewers are just like, woo! I mean, it gives us a reason to be excited.
It is actually an exciting time. I feel like the last couple years have been rough. Like,
haven't they?
It's been rough. It's about time for some good news, for some positivity.
Right?
2017.
Like, have you played around with KB Lake?
No.
7700K?
Not even.
Okay, don't bother.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I will not do that.
Now we're on the same page.
Perfect.
Don't bother. Don't.
Ryzen.
Save your time. Unless you want to watch 4K Netflix
You know what?
on the computer.
No.
Okay.
No.
And
Never have I ever. Dude, I don't watch Netflix on my computer at all. I'm like, I like watch Netflix either on a tablet or just on my TV.
Okay. Yeah. I buy that. The built-in TV apps generally
They're not bad.
They get a lot of attention.
And Mike, the TV I use actually has 4K and HDR as well. So it's like it's all built in. Like I usually don't like to use like the built-in TV apps, but like it's all right there. Like same thing we've been watching like Grand Tour through Amazon, 4K HDR, touch nothing. It's actually
beautiful.
Yes. Yeah.
Yours is the Samsung one that you did the sponsored gaming setup thing for,
yes.
right? That's the same one that I got for World's Most Comfortable, is it?
I believe so.
Think so. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice TV.
It's a good TV. Now, of course, this year, TV game is changing.
Is it really? Is it actually changing?
Just wait. Okay?
Okay, I'll give you this.
Samsung is redefining the television category.
Redefining. Tell me more.
With QLED. Wait, QLED. Sorry.
QLED? There's actually some dot in here too.
I screwed up and I called it Q dot because it's
Quantum dot. Wait, but wasn't quantum dot already a thing?
Yes. But now they're calling it QLED.
QLED.
So I think the
QLED is thing.
I think the intent is to make it sound like and look like OLED.
Oh. Yes. Sure.
Now,
well, speaking of OLED, just jumping in, you see the Sony OLED?
No.
Sony now has 3 TVs. I don't know. There's a specific brand name for them, but Sony now has 3 OLED TVs. And if you like find a picture of them, it's cool because it's essentially, it almost looks like an easel sort of thing where like it sits down and it's like kind of tilted back. So from the front, you just see it's super thin bezel and there's like nothing below it. So what they're doing is they're doing some interesting stuff with the actual speakers where it's actually resonating through the glass.
I've heard of stuff like that before.
Yeah. And it's got a sub in the back. Yeah, you can see right there.
Here, I'm gonna try and screen share with them. Hopefully. Oh, I pressed a bad button. No, I think we're good.
Are we still alive?
Yeah, we're live. We are live. So this is from TheVerge.com.
Yeah. So you can see there's basically like almost no bezel, right? So and there's no bezel on the bottom. And you can look at it from the side. So basically, I don't know if you see any like rear pictures, but it's sort of like got like a tilt in the back where there's a sub. But the idea is that not only is it thin, but there's some kind of speaker setup that's like actually uses the glass. There you go. But it uses the glass to actually resonate. So I haven't actually heard it. They have the demos up, but obviously it's the show floor. But the Sony rep was talking about how it's sort of an interesting experience to have the sound come not from like the bottom of the TV, but actually from
or
the
like
screen
around
itself.
the TV.
Yeah, exactly.
From the screen.
Just jumping in, but OLED the game is definitely kind of heating up there. So I feel like Samsung absolutely has to be feeling the pressure.
So I did go to LG today.
Yeah.
And I saw the wallpaper TV.
I haven't seen that yet.
Okay, it mounts. Okay, so all you need to know it's amazing, it mounts with magnets. It mounts to the wall with magnets.
Okay, I need to see this. I just heard about this like an hour ago.
Okay, so it's really cool. It's like
so it's fully rollable. Like you can like completely.
No roll. But like they have one in the booth where they have like a robot arm that's like peeling it up a bit and then putting it back. So you can see how thin it is, and you can see how it's just like sticking.
Right.
It's crazy thin. And what LG's doing is, do you know how I have my home computer set up with Corning optical Thunderbolt
right.
cables?
You have it all in the closet.
Going in the closet. Okay. So, so your Samsung TV, you know how it has the One Connect?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it has a single connector, assuming you don't need to plug in hardline networking. Right? You don't use networking? Yeah.